Hey guys, Tom601, and today we have the community's top 10 favorite ships from 2022 as voted by you, and we're going to go through them all. But before we do, just a couple of notes. You will notice a lot of the footage today of the ships is in AI. That's because I am attempting to learn a new controller preset, and as a result, decided to get all of the B-roll footage in AI, or the majority of the B-roll footage in AI. That way, I wasn't totally tanking anyone's game as I struggled with my new Butterfingers. But with all of that said, how did we do this ranking? So we had a survey go up on a form. We asked you to rank your favorite ships from 1 to 10. Then we used a reverse point scale in order to assign every single ship a ranking. So what that was is if you put a ship at number 1, it receives 10 points. Then the ship at number 2 receives 9 points. The ship at number 3, 8 points. 4 points, or number 4 gets 7 points. Number 5 gets 6 points. It continues to descend in value until you get to the bottom, which is the number 10 ranked ship on someone's list would get 1 point. We then combined all of those votes into one giant spreadsheet, calculated the points they received together, and that gives us a points total and ranks these ships. I do have to say a great shout out to all of you that voted. We had nearly 200 people vote, or we were like 199. So we'll call it 200. So thank you so much to everyone that voted. And without further ado, let's just get in to our first ship. At number 10, Summers. That's right, this campaign reward ship from March comes in at our number 10 slot. And really, what's not to love about this little American torpedo boat? Over on PC, it is a tier 10 boat, and as my fellow CC Zarkoon has pointed out, they didn't change really any of the stats, and they put it down at tier 7. So it performs exceptionally well, so much so that it did receive the CE branding. We have not seen it re-released, though I'm sure we will someday soon in a more balanced form. But as it is now, what's not to love about Summers? Decent guns, 3 racks of torpedoes that can hit pretty hard, and, a campaign reward ship, and I think one that will stand the test of time as to one of the better Tier 7 reward ships, especially now that it looks like, as far as we know, Tier 7 reward ships, they're done and dusted. We've had them for 3 years, and 2022 will be the last year we ever had probably a Tier 7 campaign reward ship. Of course, I say that and maybe things change, but it looks like things from now on are about those Tier 8 reward ships. So it's good to see Summers with its 3 torpedo racks, 8 barrels, the usual tort boat goodies down here, and I'm glad I have another ship to put good old Albert Gleaves on. So that is number 10. What about our number 9? Well, our number 9 goes out to Musashi. That's right, the tier 8 Yamato, the sister ship to Yamato with the big old guns. Musashi was a campaign reward ship in the month of August, and well, I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of her coming so soon. I wanted to enjoy a little bit longer in tier 7 without having to worry about overmatch, but I think it finds its place very well down at number 9. It's a solid ship all around. It is a kind of plug-and-play battleship of you can kind of just go nose in and rely on those big old guns to punch a hole in whatever wants to charge at you, and you can get pretty decent damage games. Yes, she doesn't have as good of dispersion as her sister. She doesn't have the anti-aircraft ability of her sister, but she still packs those massive guns that will deliver the ginormous hits, especially when the enemy ship has when the enemy ships have sort of misplayed or shown broadside. So that's, I guess, why Musashi down at number 9. Moving on to number 8, and we, in fact, have a tie at receiving 296 points each. We have Plymouth and Agincourt. That's right. Our first tie on this list, and they couldn't go to two more different ships. The first one being Plymouth. And, well, it is the first premium ship to make it on to this list. Won't be the last. And what's there to say? It's a ship that I have a special connection to just because I sort of called it but didn't. We did notice a grayed out, a Gaussian blurred British light cruiser in a trailer, and we went through a large investigation trying to figure out what ship it would be. It would turn out to be Plymouth, and Plymouth is an interesting one because over on PC it's tier 10, and they managed to squeeze it down to tier 7. They did that over on PC. It has both smoke, it has all of its consumables plus a radar. Here, we didn't get the ability to run smoke and radar at the same time. I think that's why they justified putting it down at tier 7. But I think it's a fantastic boat. I enjoy the British light cruisers, and Plymouth has a special place because it's very much I kind of feel like the purest form. It's sort of the tech tree ship that should have existed at tier 7. Of course, at tier 7 in our game, we have Edinburgh, and Edinburgh is the odd one out of that ship line, right? Her 30mm bow makes her extremely tanky for a cruiser at the tier, but Plymouth, she goes back to, I think it's a 14 or 16mm bow. It is very skinny. It's one that you will easily get penetrated and you can easily go booming, and it kind of feels like this is the ship that belongs in the tech tree, which is why I absolutely love seeing her on the list. Flip that over to the other, Agincourt. Agincourt, I am so happy to see this here, mainly because it shows that community events matter, right? Agincourt, if you're not aware, was the only way to get it was through a sort of kind of like our advent calendar that's going on right now. You had to play every day for 3 weeks, accomplish tasks. If you did that, you then received the Agincourt. And what is the Agincourt? Well, it is a British battleship with a ton of guns and an ability to build into secondaries like none other for the Brits. And it's just a fun ship to play with a massive, massive broadside. And it's absolutely fun. Yes, there's a slow reload, but getting those secondaries to go burr is a total amount of fun. And I love that it's here because it shows that when Wargaming goes out and gives us these ships for free, makes a community event of it, it does matter. Here it is at number 8 on the list. Is it the number 1 ship? No. But there is a community event around this ship, and it shows that it matters to us that we have these fun events that we enjoy, and that does bring positive goodwill to the game. So hopefully, my one little piece of feedback for Wargaming here, notice this, please. More free event-based ships, maybe. That's just my 2 cents. Anyways, now moving on to our number 7 slot. And that goes to our only tech tree ship on the list, Prince Ruprecht, the tier 8 German battlecruiser, a line that at least I can say I thoroughly enjoyed this year, and I think the player base has enjoyed as well, as those ships are currently overperforming according to Wargaming, which is excellent. And what's not to love about them, right? You got some pretty big guns. You got sonar. You got torpedoes. You got long-range secondaries. And you got German battleship stuff. So, like, the battle cruisers, they are a fun line to play, and I'm very happy to see that they make their way onto the list at slot number 7. After that, we move on to number 6, and the number 6 ship received 396 points, and that is Azuma. That's right, the redemption story of the year. A lesson as to why, whenever people are like, should I sell my ships? I'm like, no! Do not sell your ships, because it could get Azuma'd. If you didn't know Azuma, I think we could call her lackluster at best when she came out. Of course, she was a she was a campaign reward ship and one that was vastly not liked by the community. Then this year, she received a massive buff, buffing, I think, pretty much everything about her. She got some beautiful new AP that were like railguns. The HE remained strong. I can't remember if they touched the armor, but overall, Azuma got some love this year, and as a result, finds itself at number 7 on the list, and the first of the GXP ships that are on the list, the ones that came that you could pick up for 750,000 global XP. So there's Azuma at number 6. Let's move on to number 5, and at 462 points, we have another Japanese ship, this time the Tier 5 battleship, Hyuga. Hyuga? Hyuga. What can we say about Hyuga? Well, how would you like reload boosters at Tier 5 in a battleship? Yeah? Cool, that's what it is. Hyuga, incredibly strong premium battleship that came out this year. She's what you want, I guess, in a premium battleship, really. Just blatant being better than pretty much anything else that is out there at the tier. The reload boosters make her special, make her incredibly potent, because you can punish enemies when they go broadside, not once, but usually twice within a broadside turn, and you know you're going to see a lot of those because you're down at tier 5. So, yeah, Hyuga coming in at number 5. Next, at number 4, we have our second tie of the list, Republic and Minotaur, both receiving 493 points. And let's just start with Republic, the ship that defined what we can expect in the era of tier 8s, right? Republic, the first tier 8 campaign reward ship, an incredibly strong one, fast firing, good accuracy, big old guns that have the potential to overmatch not everything, but a good chunk of ships at the tier. I think Republic sets the bar very high for what we could expect from the tier 8s coming in through the campaign reward ships, and she's just fun, right? There is just an inherent amount of good times to be had when you got big guns and they go boom faster than pretty much anyone else can fire their big guns. And Republic, like I said, I understand why she found herself up at number 4. Coming in with her tie is Minotaur. Now, Minotaur technically didn't come out this year, but we'll call it that just because, well, she was a campaign reward ship for Christmas of last year, and then if you missed out on getting her, you could then also do the Bureau project to receive her this year. So a bit of a weird one, especially because if I recall last year, the Christmas one where Minotaur came out, if you didn't get it early, you got it in the new year. So all said and done, Minotaur, one of the better legendary ships, I think, and one that kind of helped show why we needed cruisers at legendary tier that weren't Alaska, right? We'd had these big loathing battle cruisers at the tier, but we needed the light cruisers, and we need heavy cruisers now, but we needed the light cruisers. Minotaur, a fast firing British light cruiser with her smoke or with her radar, potent in both versions, and a ship that has been dev struck many a times and will continue to be dev struck, but we'll love her all the same for it. Also, she gets some pretty good torps too. So yeah, Minotaur coming in at number 4. Next up, the final destroyer on the list, Friesland, the tier 7 pan-European gunboat, the one that will Daka quicker than anyone else in the game, the one that probably ran rampant in the if we all three play destroyers in arena game mode divisions, you know who you are. Friesland, what's there to say about her? Fantastic long duration smoke, great little sonar, huge rate of fire that makes her the king of destroying other destroyers, and decent if you can get some fires to proc at chip damage, but mainly the all-out destroyer hunter. She is a fantastic ship, and she came this year for global XP. Yes, I believe she came out last year as a campaign reward ship along with Loyang, but both of them this year became available for GXP, meaning that if you didn't want to pay to play, you got access to one of the best destroyers at tier 7 for free, which is why I think we are seeing her at the number 3 spot with 505 points. She absolutely deserves to be there. She's a fantastic boat. Yes, she doesn't have torpedoes, and that's the usual destroyer role. But here we are, the community speaking, saying that's okay. We will happily take Friesland, and that's why she earns her number 3 spot. Next at number 2, receiving 556 points, the legendary American cruiser Des Moines. What can we say? This ship was so powerful it got a nerf. She is, I think, really the only true heavy cruiser at the tier, right? Stalingrad, Yoshino, Alaska, all more the battle cruiser style. If you want to play a traditional heavy cruiser, Des Moines is the only option, and because of that, it excels incredibly well at that tier because it fills a niche that wasn't previously filled, and as a result, the damage it does, its fire rate, its ability to throw shells, to throw lead, that radar, just it is a beautiful package of both utility and ability to do damage. And the best part, if you can call it that, you can get it for free, right? It's legendary tier. It's in the bureau. Do your dailies, have your commanders, and one day you can have Des Moines. It was so strong it received a nerf, and we all blame where are you Aaron and maybe a little bit of Peak, but where are you Aaron in Chile games? It's all their fault. Not really. It turns out when you have a predator and it doesn't have anything else in its niche to compete against, it's going to do well. Who knew? It's both biology and, in fact, what happens in the game. But Des Moines, a very solid cruiser, one that definitely might have deserved that nerf, but is still strong even with in its nerfed form. So there goes Des Moines, having received 556 points. What is our final ship? What is the number 1 favorite ship by the community? Well, at receiving 587 points, it's Brandenburg. That's right, a campaign reward ship finds itself on top, a German battleship at that. Brandenburg, you get your Tirpitz hull with its beautiful torpedoes. You add Bismarck's secondary range, in fact, beating the Bismarck secondary range, and then you give it slightly smaller guns with a faster fire rate, and you find yourself with Brandenburg, the ship that dominated the charts of German battleships this year, to the point where I guess this was the reason why we ended up getting a Bismarck B, where they tweaked the stats so that Bismarck could have something over this campaign reward ship. I think Brandenburg is a very, very solid ship, and I think it goes back to the idea of when you're playing a game, it's about having fun, and Brandenburg delivers fun, right? Being able to torpedo people, being able to have a secondary build where those secondaries go brap brap, where you get a relatively fast-firing guns. Yes, they're smaller, but relatively fast-firing guns for a battleship. It's a very, very good package. And what do you give up? Well, you don't get sonar. That's okay. Like, you give up some balancing factors that would definitely behoove you, especially if you're going to be playing it in the brawling playstyle, but you're going to be having fun in this ship. And one thing I do want to point out, Brandenburg, she received the most number 1 votes of anyone, and she had the lead from when we started tallying all the way through. There was a couple times where Des Moines got close, but Brandenburg took the lead from calculating the number 1 votes and stayed there for the entire duration as we tabulated everything. So a big shout out to Brandenburg. And guys, that is the top 10 list. Let me know what y'all think. Did you guys like this list? Should I do this again next year? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, guys, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.